It started with me as a high school teacher teaching English and social studies. And after several years, I discovered that there seemed to be 2 or 3 kids in every one of my classes who, when you spoke to them, were perfectly able to understand the content they'd just been learning. But when you ask these same students to produce something in writing, the ideas just weren't developed. It just didn't match what they were able to do when you talked to them. So this piqued my curiosity. The staff who I talked with about this tended to go with the notion that, no, these kids are just lazy, they're being difficult, they're just acting out, and they're troublemakers, and maybe they're just slow. And I knew that probably wasn't all there was to it.
Learning disabilities were really a new concept, and people referred to them as disabilities. And of course, the word disabilities, it really indicates that somebody cannot do something. We didn't believe that.
I encountered hundreds of parents and tested hundreds of kids, wrote hundreds of reports, and after 4 years of this, there was a buildup of demand for, fine, we understand now what's going on, and we think that we should do something about it. What should we do? Where should we go? How do we find out? Then we got the idea that maybe we should look at private schools which exist throughout North America that focus their attention on this kind of student. A student that learns differently, not in the conventional way. We found some evidence of this same kind of instructional technique and classroom management system in a school much closer to us, and that was the Denver Academy. And was very impressed with the way it was run. The head of it, Dr. Paul Knott, the teaching staff, so professional, committed, and the kids are really looking like they're enjoying themselves and learning. And so while I was running my clinic, I started to advise parents to give them a try. And within 2 or 3 years, I had over 50 referrals that I had given out to people, and about 35 of them actually went to Denver Academy. And it was an overwhelming response, positive response. And parents were extremely happy. The kids were learning and feeling much more confident in themselves. It was just a transformational experience for most of them. Now that we know the kind of things that work for these students, these learning different students, who have normal intelligence or higher, but don't respond to standard teaching approaches that are found in most public and private schools. And parents actually began pressing on me at my clinic, saying, can you help us to get something started here in Calgary? And in 1980, we began putting together the parts of the puzzle and start looking seriously at how you're going to get started, because you're going to need either a philanthropist or a very community-minded businessman or someone with financial capabilities. Jim Gray, who was at that time and still is a highly regarded businessman who did some very important community work in Calgary, had been one of my clients. So I called him and I talked to him about this idea. Within a month, he had done his due diligence and checked me out and checked out the ideas and and he had first-hand experience with the Denver Academy, which helped us a lot, helped him a lot. So we got our start by having Jim Gray and Doug Brogan go to the bank with me one day and back up a credit line, enough for us to get started and get through our first year along with the other sources we would have, like tuition, government grants, and so on.
The job description went out for teachers and welcomed applications, and there were many, many, many applications.
We sifted very carefully through our applications. We had over 130 applicants for 6 positions.
People that were applying for jobs at Calgary Academy realized and knew that if they came, they were accepting a job in a school that might not survive a year. They came because they cared about kids with learning differences. They were dynamic. They wanted that challenge. They wanted to learn. They wanted to be specialized in that area and be the best that they could be. For the entire month of August, they were in professional development with Denver Academy. It was tough. It was long days into the evenings, everything brand new. It was just, it was incredible how they soaked it up. They loved it.
We developed this kind of family kind of feeling towards the kids and them to us. And I think that spirit embedded itself in the staff and carried through the years. And it's one of the hallmarks. The realization at the very beginning how early and how soon the kids showed remarkable positive change. They didn't make giant leaps in academic success in 3 months, but their attitude toward learning, their confidence in their own abilities, and their general feelings of well-being and happiness were dramatically improved. And this fired up the staff. It fired up the parents, and it fired me up too. Through our efforts, through our study, through our attention to learning more, and to just being there and running the school, just how much it's meant to the families and to the children themselves. And knowing that we actually made a difference that counts.